Turns from a stop can be practiced in a couple different ways depending on the situation, faster or slower. Today we'll practice both. It can also be either a typical 90-degree turnout that's often practiced, but we should also practice 180-degree U-turns or any angle in between because you may need it sometime. Okay, now you're wondering why, Rick, would we want to do these tight turns faster? That's kind of new, right? Nobody ever says to practice that. Well, bear with me for a second. So this situation, imagine we're in a lane of traffic heading up to where the cones are up there. There's an intersection, and there's a vehicle in front of us. My motorcycle is a pickup truck or whatever. So you generally stop back here, leave a little bit of room so you can escape to the left or to the right. If there's a vehicle coming up behind you, call it Billy Bob and his pickup truck, and you know he's not going to stop. You hear him coming. In this situation, you can escape forward and to the side. Now, imagine for a second, you're in the front of the line. This is a stop line. The light's red, stop sign, whatever the situation is. There's heavy traffic coming from the left right here. You can't go that way. So when that pickup truck comes up behind you and he's not going to stop, you can't just go straight to the left or the right. You got to go hard right or hard left. And that's the reason we practice this a little bit faster. Most people practice this going just as slow as you can straight up, which we do as well, and we practice that, but not for this situation. For this situation, you need to get the heck out of the way. So in this situation, you see that truck coming, hard turn, escape. This is the shoulder. This is not the lane of traffic. This is a fog line. Traffic is over here. Never do we stop at an intersection and the stop line is right here and the cars are just whizzing by your front tire. There's always a buffer, a couple feet at least. Right here, I've got 6 feet. I think that's pretty common. So that leaves us just enough room to evade to the right or to the left. Sometimes you need to go to the left because the right's not free. We'll go to the left, even though you're in a lane of traffic going this direction now, probably, or maybe it's a left turn lane, depends. Either way, if you got to go left, you got to go left. You might have to do a full U-turn and go this way in the traffic just to get the heck out of the way, being cautious of traffic coming this direction that's going to turn the corner going right. So this may be tricky because of that. But the bottom line is, if you're in front, you need to have a place to go. So we're going to practice that today. So here we are, stopped at the stop line intersection. Say right now we're going left. The fundamentals of turning left and turning right are slightly different, but we'll start with left. It's a touch easier. So fundamentals are bike's in first gear, little increase in throttle, which is typical for our slow speed maneuvers, light rear brake as well. Now today we're going to lean the bike slightly to the left. And this is a heavy motorcycle. I'm not going to get a lot of lean out of it, but I am going to right here straight up. I'm going to lean it that little bit, and I'm going to turn the bars. Now, we need to turn our head and eyes. Yeah, we hear that all the time. This time, don't even look down at the cones. Look way over there. It'll help a lot. If you run over the cones, we're just practicing. We'll hit a cone, we'll stand it back up, try again. When you're first learning this maneuver, you might try to dab your left foot just for half a second. It'll help you to go from a dead stop. Be very careful because like I have bags on here and a crash bar. If you get your foot stuck under there, it's going to be a really bad day. So we're talking about just a half second, maybe enough to get your foot back a foot or so when you're just taking off, but then get your foot back up and on the peg. And we need to learn eventually to not do that. Just as soon as you start moving, pick up that foot. Keep head and eyes up. We're going to go to the left. Keep head and eyes up. Look down range. Increase throttle. Light rear brake. Coming into a stop, we pull up, we stop at the fog line. Uh-oh, pickup truck's not going to stop behind us. That's our escape is to the left this time. Head and eyes, light rear brake, increase throttle, let the clutch out. Piece of cake. Okay, so we're stopped at the red light. Truck's not pulling up behind us. Left is our bailout today. Crank the bars, increase throttle, let the clutch out, head and eyes to the left. Okay, now we're going to go pull out to the right. The difference in the fundamentals on this is normally you would have your left foot on the ground and your right foot on the brake. What we're going to do to make this a bit easier turn for us, we're going to put our right foot on the ground, left foot on the peg. But what that does is it doesn't cover a brake. So if you're on a little bit of a slope or whatever, the bike might want to roll away. So all you need to do is cover the front brake just very lightly. And as you let out the clutch, release the front brake and get your foot up on the rear brake. Coming in for a stop. It's a red light. We're stopping at the white line. Car's coming up behind us. He's not going to stop. Uh-oh, we're going that way. Now, we also need to practice doing this slow, which I see commonly taught by online creators, whatnot, and they're not wrong. We need to do it slow as well, but that's a different situation. This isn't an emergency. This is just maneuvering in tight spots. Like who knows what a tight spot could be. Could be anything. Could be you parked your bike at the Walmart and came out and there's a Winnebago convention and they parked all their Winnebagos right here and they left you just this little spot to get out. Whatever the situation, it really doesn't matter. But it's the same fundamentals. The only difference is don't lean your bike so much and go as slowly as you can. Now, a big benefit to going slowly is you can stop much easier, because if you've got your bike in a lean and you need to stop, you either need to pick the bike up and stop, or if you need to stop, say a little kid jumped out in front of you, just stop, handful of front brake, but it's very likely that your bike's going to drop on the ground when you do it. So that's why if you do this stuff slow, it's not such a big deal to stop whenever you need to. You still want to straighten out the bars, but it doesn't take as much because you're not in a lean. So doing it slowly, all the same fundamentals. Just a little bit slower. That's all it is. So this pattern I have set up is 6 feet wide that way, 6 feet wide this way. It really doesn't matter. As long as you've got enough room, you don't want to stop right next to that cone and then do a full lock turn because you're obviously going to run into it. When you stop on the road or park in a parking spot or whatever, you generally don't have your bike tied up against the curb or tied up against the car that's right next to you. There's usually a couple feet. So this is a more realistic way of practicing. So we're going to do this again, nice and slow. Don't look down at the cones. One more time to the left. Don't look down at the cones. Slow to the right. Same fundamentals. Right foot's down. Nice and slow. Keep your eyes downhill, downrange. One more time to the right. Right foot down. Friction zone is your friend on this exercise. If you let out too much clutch, the bike is going to stand up and go straight and you blow out those cones in front of you. Pretty common, just need to practice not to do that. right turn, slow. Okay, this U-turn from a stop is set at 18 foot. Actually, a little bit less because I'm not quite up to the cones, but whatever. We may hit them, we may not. Let's just try it. No, that worked out. Don't forget, U-turn to the left, put your left foot down. U-turn to the right, put your right foot down. Let's do that left one more time. That was kind of weak. Okay, left foot down, bars locked. Keep your head and eyes up. Escape to the left, look left, turn left, go. So to recap, turn from a stop, going slow is more for tight spaces or low traction like gravel or something like that. A little bit faster turns from a stop is an evasive maneuver to get out of a sticky situation like a car coming up behind you that's not going to stop. We need to practice it enough that it becomes second nature where we don't have to think about all the steps, because if there's a car coming up behind you, you don't have time to count the steps and do all that stuff. You need to see them coming and it's going to be, oh crap, there's my escape. Turn it and go. And you need to do it that quick or even quicker to beat that car that's coming up behind you. Hopefully we never use this skill, but if we ever do, we'll be glad that we had it in our toolbox. Have a great day.